First, just thanks to our staff and so many that contribute to the recruiting process. And it's not just the people in this building, it's the academic support staff, our administration, the student body when we're on campus and have activities. So many people pitch in, the pilots. Just there's so many people pitch in to contribute to the efforts that go into recruiting, and it's a large task, and it takes everybody from personnel to the recruiting staff, and obviously the coaches that are involved in the actual on the ground recruiting. So I thought the effort that was put into trying to make our first class here a top 10 class, which was our goal. I don't know where we stand with that. I can't keep up with all of that, but that was our goal, is in year one to have a top 10 class, and then in year two to have a top 5 class. And that is the way I think you start building a program that is able to stack itself upon each other and create a competitiveness among the roster that drives you to chase a standard every day that's needed to win in this conference. And so just thanks to all the people that pitched into that. And it takes obviously the people that have helped fund this building and the facilities and the resources we have. It's all a part of the journey. So thankful for the effort. I think I couldn't have asked any more out of the effort that it took to try in a short amount of time to get into the battles for the top guys, because truthfully the elite schools are always a couple years ahead, and we had to close the gap on a lot to get in those battles. We didn't win all of them, but we sure were in them, and I think that speaks to the effort we put into building relationships with so many. So excited about this class. We focused on the high school class. I said that in our press conference the other day. I don't know that that's the right approach, but it certainly I did not want to – I wanted them to feel like they're the priority. And so we did not chase hard in portal on everyone that could play, and there was a lot that could, because we were just committed to making sure that our high school class felt like they were the priority of us establishing the true rebuild here at Auburn. And now we'll go from here, and hopefully there'll be the missing pieces that we did not land. We will hope that we can find them either between now and the spring term, or after the spring practice and that portal opens again. We'll see what happens then with what our needs will be at that time. So excited about the class, obviously just thrilled with the effort, and I really believe that the young men that we've signed and the families they come from, I love these kids. I love them as individuals. I think they're genuine. I think they want to help a program reestablish itself as one of the elite programs in the country, and I think they love to work at it, and excited to get a lot of them here soon and go to work.
Hey, Hugh, just how much effort went into keeping the guys that were committed versus going out and trying to flip guys from other places?
It was both. I mean, you can't. Listen, last night it was. There's some schools in this conference that they believe in last night efforts, and what you gotta fight, and you gotta hold on, and you gotta stay up all night and play video games and do stuff that's out of my comfort zone, and but you just there was some late night pushes, and we held on some, and won and lost one, and people in this conference are good at what they do, and I don't always like what is done, but it's you gotta have plans, and you gotta fight for it, and but it was both. I mean, you got to try to hold on to your good ones and all of yours, and then trying to win a few battles at the end on some kids that are undecided.
Coach, you guys attacked the skill positions really hard in this class. You had a lot of good successes, but so many games are won and lost in the trenches. Can you talk about offensive line recruiting in this class and how you guys plan to fill some holes you may have coming up there?
Yeah, we're that was one position in the portal that we knew we probably needed a few, and we didn't get the two guys that we kind of focused on in the portal. And I love the two that we have, DeAndre and Seth. I think Seth was named yesterday first-team All-American, something that we saw in him. And obviously DeAndre, we think is just I think he's going to be an NFL inside guard, center, and love him as a kid. So I think we got two really good ones there committed. And there's still one out there we're battling for, or two that we're battling for, truthfully. And then we'll go from there, and hopefully they'll be the ones if we need more, we'll certainly, hopefully there'll be a few that go in the portal that we can try to get in on. But there's no question that that one position's been the biggest challenge for me to try to figure out, and for Jake to try to figure out. So we're still trying to figure that one out, truthfully.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Hugh, you took time off from working on the offense or in offensive game planning to focus on recruiting. How does it feel now that this class is kind of fruition?
I think that let's start. So Walker White, I think, is going to be a star. I think he's got all the attributes of what a quarterback should look like. I think he's a true Auburn man. Obviously, you don't know how quick he will adjust to this game, but I think he's got all the skill sets to do that. And then you move to where it's no secret we needed to get some difference makers at the receiver position, and to land two of the top 10 in the nation in Perry and Cam, and then two others that I think are sleepers. I mean, but they both are ranked in the top 150 in the country, in Bryce and Malcolm. I think we've gone now they're going to have to get thrown in the deep end of the pool and swim pretty fast, but I think they have that ability, and it changes our offense if we have guys like that on the outside and in the slot that can make plays, and I've seen them do it. I'm reminded when we started rebuilding Ole Miss, that first full class, just like this first full class, we talked a guy by the name of Laquan Treadwell in coming with us, and it changed the way we called games. And I feel the same about getting the Cam and Perrys and Malcolms and Bryces. So, you combine Walker with those. I think we did pretty good at the skill positions. So I think the time I chose to maybe spend away from the offensive side of the ball, it paid some dividends there. And for sure, I would argue that we have. I can't keep up with all the rankings and polls and stuff, but I would argue that our receiver class and our linebacker class has to be two of the top in the country. I don't know how they rank that or anything, but if you take Waller and Phillips and Riddick and Barber, I would venture to guess that we rival most any linebacker class that was signed from the high school ranks, along with the receiver rankings. So also excited about our DBs with Falston and Amon Lane and Jalen Crawford and Laquan Robinson. Am I forgetting somebody there? And Caleb Harris, who's really physical, and we need that. So, and then D-line, I think, between T.J. Lindsey and Malik Blockton and Jamonte Waller and Gage Keys, and I think we're improving ourselves there. We're still looking for a little more help there also, but really pleased with the linebackers. And then we have Darren Mossy also from Duke at linebacker. That's a very experienced guy, and that is signed with us also. So we're steadily building, and so I'm pleased for the time that I took away. I think it did pay dividends.
You mentioned a few spots where you're still battling for. You have any idea of just round number as to what you expect total number when the dust settles by Friday, and then how many you'd have available in the spring?
Well, availability today is that number moves constantly because of the freedom that players have today, and so it's hard for me to say what's available and what's not. But as far as the number for Friday, I don't even know what number we're at right now. But Ethan, we're at 24 right now. But I mean, we're in some battles for 3 kids left that I know of, and I don't know that all of them will sign today or not. But we're in some battles there, and then there's a few portal guys that we have an interest in. So I really don't know what the number would be at the end of Friday.
You talked about the wide receiver group. Obviously, had a transfer in there as well. But
I forgot about Robert Lewis, who I think is a really, really solid player that gives us some experience, and good that he'll be here in the spring.
How valuable is it to have? I mean, you got lots of different types of guys. I mean, you got big, physical, small, fast. I mean, how valuable is that to have different players that can fit in different spots?
Well, I like length and catch radius, so I'm glad that we've added some of that. I don't mind small kids, but I just don't think you can have too many of them in this league. And, I think now we got Jay Fair and we got Bryce Kane, and I think those are 2 guys that can play in this league. And then the others all have some length to them.
Hugh, how important was Joe Phillips kind of being a spark for those summer months, going into Big Cat and getting a big win to kind of get y'all going there?
Yeah, I thought I can't remember the exact time frame, but I thought he and Riddick jumping in there when they had to battle people like Georgia and Alabama for those guys, and for us to hold on to them. I think we signed 12 guys from the state of Alabama, which is big because we want to win this state. And I don't know if we won the state this year or not. I don't know how that's determined, but we certainly would like to in the future of winning our share, if not more than our share in this state. And I thought Joseph and Riddick really helped kind of kickstart that.
Hugh, a lot of your guys, or a lot of the big prospects, were guys that were committed elsewhere in the SEC, some big name programs. As a staff, just what did it take for y'all to, overcome some of that against these schools that, like you said earlier, have a couple years head start recruiting some of these guys?
Yeah, I think it's just time and effort, and getting them to campus as many times as you can, and seeing if they can't feel a different feel about here as opposed to other places. Look, every individual has a criteria of how they make decisions, and what is going to be the motivating factor in their decision. And I think we're obviously not going to win all of those, but we just got to win our share. And I think just putting enough time and effort into the right type of kid and family that we know fits here, we got a really good shot at doing that. The ones that may not really fit here, we're probably not going to be as successful with in turning their head toward here in that short amount of time. So I thought we were pretty wise about the targets that we felt like, man, this kid and family will resonate with the Auburn culture, the Auburn family, the Auburn feel. Let's invest our time in those.
One of those SEC flip guys was a Cam Coleman. That was obviously a really wild recruiting process. Kind of what kind of effort did that take from you guys, from Marcus to pull that one off? In the end?
Yeah, I don't know if all of our staff put in great effort, but Marcus Davis, he had to spend extra time because of the number of kids we were trying to sign there too, and the ranking of them. But when Cam made his commitment to another school, we just immediately said, look, that's fine, but we're not going to waver. And we are not going away, and we are going to fight to the end, and we'll prove to you that we want you more, that we obviously feel like you're a difference maker here, and we just were relentless of making sure he understood that. And obviously it helped that the other school had a coaching change, but I'd like to think we were going to win it anyway, but I don't know if that's the case or not, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Hugh, there are different types of high school recruits. You've got guys that have been committed since day one, like Walker White. You have guys that you pick up along the way, and then you have flips on National Signing Day. How exciting is it to have how exciting is it to have some of those guys that you flip from big name programs on a day like today? How exciting is that for you and your staff?
That's more of a relief. I mean, you'll be excited. I mean, you're excited when you watch it, and then you're like, thank you, Lord, because, some of them, they go quiet on you sometimes, and you wonder, and, are the papers in on the last one? Yeah. But to get Amaris, what is he, the number 37th player in the country, 34th player in the country, that's pretty big. I think he's one heck of an athlete, and loved getting to know him, and my home visit with him and his mom was incredible, and we were behind, obviously, but Coach Garrett did a great job just staying in it. And, but that's a difference maker type of kid. You get the 34 ranked player in the country, and that should bump us up in rankings, I would think. But those are rewarding. At the same time, you think you've done all to flip another one, and then all of a sudden he goes another direction. Those you just take them in stride, really. You gave your best, and 2 days ago was told that, I'm coming. And then, today it changes, and, those are always disappointing because you put great effort in theirs, but we've done this long enough to where those are going to happen. And so you just keep fighting and keep battling, and hopefully you win more than your share to get us up there where we have some elite classes to start stacking on top of each other.
Coach, just kind of circling back with more specificity on Ferg's question, what did you find was the most effective message in recruiting this cycle? Was it opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
NIL has become a part of the conversation. Yeah. You talked about kids having the resources to bless kids, but not wanting that to come with entitlement.
No, I'm totally opposed to the entitlement syndrome. And I tell them that. I just say, look, truthfully, if I had my way, which I wouldn't, and I'm sure there's something, but I'd just soon everybody, whatever NIL agreement they have, it would be all be the same for your level of classification on the base, and then everything else is incentive. You play in 30 snaps, man, you get this. You win a game, you get this. Man, I would love to see people have to earn and strive to move themselves up and do that, but they don't ask me, and so it is what it is. So that's certainly part of the game, and we're only allowed to give them a range, but that we would see them valued at. But I really think that it's the selling pitch is, look, this place has played for 2 national championships. Yeah, it hadn't been as recent as some of the other elite, but there's only in 12 or 13 years, only 6 schools that can say that, and this is one of them. All right, so yes, you can go to the elite right now and you can help them sustain, and there's nothing wrong with that. You could also choose that you want to be a trailblazer and do something different and join together with a group of guys and return a program that's proven it can be there and return it back to that. And that is the message, along with the environment that we have. Does it fit you? And if the environment fits you to where you would want to show up every day here and work, because it is work, it's a full-time job, and you're motivated by the opportunity to do something early and help us restore something at a place that the passion of the fans and the support of our people is got to be as good as everywhere else, then this might be the place for you. And so that's the message.
Starting with his commitment, I think last December, Walker White has been huge in keeping people in touch, helping recruit, had that jacket on with the Freeze 5 or whatever it's called. How critical has his help been in this process?
Well, it's he's just been so consistent in trying to continue to recruit his team, and that's what you need. You need a couple of those, Keontae Scott, Jalen Simpson, Austin Keys, Damari Alston, those are, just to mention a few, those are guys that are pitching in doing the same too. But for Walker he took kind of the ownership and leadership of, hey, let's put together a top 10 class. That's what we said we wanted, and he jumped in and certainly tried every way in the world to help us do that.
Yes, Coach Freeze. Looks like about half this class will be enrolled by January. And just those guys, and really the whole class overall. A lot of these guys going to have an opportunity to play right away, you feel like?
Well, coming here in January certainly increases the odds. I'm not saying that others that show up in summer won't, but having them here in all of spring ball with the whole semester to train with Dom, to get in the routine of what it's like to be a college football player and a student, I think is going to pay them dividends. And then you have the summer to continue to train with Dom, and they roll into fall camp and they kind of already know the system and the verbiage, and so it certainly gives them a chance to have a fair shot at jumping in there and playing some.
You said next year the goal's top 5 class, and you talked earlier about having to catch up with a head start in the 25 class and kind of moving forward. Do you guys feel like you're off to a good start, or able to take advantage of that and try to be in a position to make a run at a top 5 class next year with what y'all have done already?
Well, I'm optimistic. I don't know. You guys probably would know better than I where we kind of currently stand in that, but he said we're already at 5, so we just got to hold on. We just got to keep holding on and add something to it. So yeah, I think with what we did this year in the short time we had, I think it's a reasonable expectation to think we should be around that top 5 range. If we're 6 and 7, I don't know that that's terrible either, but we need to stack some classes that are competitive with the ones that we're chasing to close the gap on, and I do think it's reasonable to expect that.
You want to go back to the transfers, Robert Lewis, Gage Keys, and Dorian from Duke. What did you see out of those guys that kind of fit in those spots you were looking for?
Dorian, mature, played a lot of football, solid, smart, understands fits, put him on the board, talk about that. He understands it all. Played in a similar system. Gives you a heavier Mike backer, 240-ish, that we really don't have built quite like that. I'm so excited to get his maturity there. I think that gives us some flexibility, like with he and Austin at the mic, and now maybe Eugene and one of these others at the backup if it's not Cam, and then maybe move Cam to a Jack where we can rush the passer a little better. So it just gives us. Cam needs to be a part of it. I don't know if it's at Will or Jack or but gives us some flexibility along with those young guys to bring along. Oh, he asked about some others. Wait a minute. Robert's solid. Like I said earlier, I think he can play inside, outside, has some length to him, has done well against good competition. Gauge, length on the inside, levers, needs to gain a little weight probably, but I thought we liked his activeness and would expect him to be in that rotation of inside guys.
Hugh, just talk about the loyalty of a guy that you inherited, Amon Langanis, and really the class overall stuck together pretty tight the whole way.
Yeah, I just, we had to work hard at it, but I do think guys like that just knew they felt it fit at Auburn and were loyal to us, and we just preached, man, let's stay together. And I know you're going to get people running at you, but just stay together. And we're fortunate that we had some loyalty in that group.